Today's
Good afternoon, ma'am.
which is on safe nebulization practice in the era of COVID-19 and beyond. I, Chintal Purohit, Assistant Professor at the Department of Paramedical and Health Sciences, would like to welcome everyone in this virtual session. I feel extremely privileged to have been given the opportunity to commence today's prestigious webinar. So let's welcome and introduce our today's expert, Dr. Hiren Popatsa, a dedicated pulmonologist, completed his respiratory medicine specialization from Jamnagar. He is currently practicing at Mishrai Hospital, Gotri, Vadodara. He has clinical experience of 10 years and holds a deep interest in offering medical expertise in the fields of COPD, asthma, TB, pneumonia, and lung cancer. He also specializes in providing guidance in post-COVID care treatment. So I would like to welcome Dr. Hiren Popat, sir, on behalf of Parul University to share his knowledge and expertise. Welcome, sir. Now I'm handing over this session to Dr. Hiren, sir.
Yes, hello. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, Parul University, for giving me this opportunity on throwing some light on safe nebulization practice in the current era, which is COVID-19. But at the same time, we should follow these measures in our routine practices as well, because COVID-19 is just one infectious disease. There are other infectious diseases as well, which can spread to us, especially healthcare workers. So I hope I'll be able to share some knowledge on safe nebulization practice with you all. So here we start. So today's our topic is safe nebulization practice in the era of COVID-19 and beyond. And I'm Dr. Hiren Popat from Mishra Hospital. So when we are working, there are three main possible routes of transmission. One is close contacts, that is when we are in close proximity to patient. Airborne, that is when patient is not present in the same vicinity, but the patient was there before and he had coughed, sneezed, or talked, and through which the patient had secreted some of oral secretions, which respiratory secretions, which we can inhale later on and we can get infected. The other is fomite. That is when on the table, on non-living things, when patient touched with his respiratory secretions, and that non-living object comes in our contact, and then we get infected. That is through fomite. So when the aerosols are generated, mainly when coughing, sneezing, talking, or breathing. Out of all these four, sneezing is the act where the maximum aerosols are generated, because sneezing has the maximum force and maximum number of droplets are generated through sneezing. We healthcare workers are the at most risk because we are dealing with the patients. And apart from us, people in the close vicinity to patient, that is the house members, friends, family, and those are at risk as well. So what are considered as aerosol generating procedures? So the procedures that we are dealing with, especially sputum production, suctioning, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, intubation, extubation, when we are giving ventilatory support to patient, when we conduct bronchoscopy and manual ventilation as well. There is a controversy in terms of nebulization, whether it is considered as an infective procedure or not. Different guidelines has different take on this. WHO says that it is high risk potential, but there is British Thoracic Society guidelines which says nebulization is not a viral droplet generating procedure, so it is not to be considered as an infective procedure. When we talk about our own country, the Indian government says there is insufficient evidence to classify nebulizer therapy as an aerosol generating procedure that is associated with transmission of COVID-19. But still more research is needed to advocate that nebulization is harmful. So I'm really sorry the images are not loading here. I don't know why. Anyways, There are different guidelines available for safe nebulization practice, whether it is in clinic, in home, or at ICU. Today we will talk about clinic and home guidelines. So, what are the categories of patients who need nebulizations? Like those patients who are already using nebulization at home, some patients with acute exacerbation, that is acute respiratory distress, and those patients who need inhaled antibiotics. So, where in case of hospital, which are the areas where nebulization is frequently given as a treatment? Number one. One is acute management, that is in clinics, in emergency department, or in hospitals. Second is home nebulization therapy is also advocated nowadays in case of chronic respiratory illness. So in today's era of COVID-19, good and safe nebulization practice is the need of the hour. So there are some precautionary measures before the nebulization, during the nebulization, after the nebulization that needs to be followed. Before nebulization, good hand washing has to be followed. We have to ensure that the device is clean before we touch them. And we also have to ensure that there is adequate protection for the healthcare worker.
Hello, everyone. I guess because of internet connection issue, sir has left. He will join shortly.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. So sorry for the interruption.
No problem, sir.
Yeah. So, shall we restart?
Yes, sir.
Can you please suggest me where at what point were we disconnected? Hello?
Yes, sir.
At what point were we disconnected? Can you please tell me? Hello?
Sir, at clinic, I guess.
At?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Just a minute. At clinic, at home, and at ICU, उसमें से at clinic पे रुका था.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Got it. So yeah, is it visible now?
Yes, yes, it's visible.
And, so patients who may need to continue nebulization are those who are already using at home, or patients who had acute exacerbations, or who need the nebulized antibiotics in case of chronic lung conditions. So where we use nebulization in our in clinics, in acute managements of respiratory illnesses, in clinics, emergency departments, or home-based nebulization therapy, like we said, in case of chronic lung disease. Good nebulization practice in present scenario is a need of hour, especially for us healthcare workers as well as for home treatment. So while giving the nebulization therapy, we have to be very careful before giving the nebulization therapy, during the nebulization, or after the nebulization. Before nebulization, adequate hand washing. We have to ensure that the device is clean, and we have to ensure that the erection protection is taken by the healthcare worker during the nebulization. We must ask the patient to use mouthpiece instead of face mask, and a separate room should be used by the patient. After the nebulization, the proper cleaning and disinfection of the nebulization machine needs to be checked, and cleaning of surface and the areas of nebulization. So as we all know, hand hygiene is very important. We use more than 60% of ethanol or more than 70% of isopropanol solution. At least 20%, 20 seconds of hand rub is required. For surgical hand antisepsis, 2 to 6 minutes is required. And after hand antisepsis, avoid contact with eye, nose, or mouth. Wear a surgical mask and keep a distance of 1 meter from patients with respiratory symptoms. At the hospital or in clinic, precautions to be taken before nebulization are wear proper N95 masks, which are at least FFP2 or more, more secure. We should use the hand gloves and surgical gown or PPE kit. Before the nebulization, we must ensure that the patient's room's door is closed. Upon setting up of nebulizer, we as a healthcare worker should maintain a safe distance of at least 6 feet or more. The number of healthcare providers present during the procedure should be limited to only those who are essential for patient care. Visitors should not be present during the procedure. Patients do not need to be transferred to a higher level of care just for the nebulization treatment. And change the nebulization machines between the patients for the sterilization purpose. At home, perform nebulization machines in well-ventilated room or in an open balcony. Close the doors of the room so that the aerosols does not dissipate to the other rooms and infect the other members. Caregiver should not be present in the room when the patient is using nebulization, and nebulization machine should not be shared with the family members. Some practical aspects to be considered before giving nebulization. The volume should not be less than 2 ml in the chamber. The dilution that we use should be done with the normal saline, not with the water. The dose should be as per the prescription by the treating physician, and the drug combination used should be as per the compatibility data available. During the nebulization to be given in a separate room or a negative pressure room. Mouthpiece is preferred over the face mask. Some practical aspect during the nebulization: posture of the patient. Patient should sit upright and hold the medication cup upright comfortably, so that the maximum drug delivery and drug is delivered and the nebulization is effective. Patient should breathe deep and hold breath in between the two breaths, which facilitates better lung distribution. Stop the nebulization if the patient needs to cough or take a phlegm. An occasional tapping of the medication chamber, which helps to bring down the bigger droplets sticking to the walls and improves the delivery of the drug. Face mask should be, if face mask is used, then it should be tightly fitting, which reduces the drug loss. Mouthpiece should be recommended, especially for steroids and anticholinergics and antibiotic treatment, which maximize the drug delivery to the lungs and prevents the loss of the drugs due to nasal filtration and prevents exposure to skin and eyes. Oxygen should be used only when indicated, that is in either patient when is hypoxic or in respiratory distress. Post nebulization, proper cleaning and disinfection of the nebulization machine is to be ensured, and cleaning of the surface and the areas of nebulization. Like cleaning with cleaning of the nebulization machine first with water or mild detergent. After every use, disinfect it with the 70% isopropanol, that is the sterile that we use, and hydrogen peroxide that is present in the hospital. Rinse properly with sterile water. The rinse is not for the machine, but for the kit, the nebulization kit. And air dry. Clean all the accessories and let it dry under the direct sunlight after every use. Precautions post nebulization of common areas and surfaces. The common areas and surfaces first need to be cleaned with the hospital grade cleaning and disinfecting agent. Then visibly dirty surfaces should be first be cleaned with the detergent, and then with hospital grade disinfectant should be applied. Many disinfectants are available and active against envelope viruses like COVID-19, out of which most widely used is 70% ethyl alcohol. And also use is sodium hypochlorite at 0.5% concentration. So this is the contact time of different solutions. Sodium hypochlorite, when used in the 0.1% concentrate, contact time required is 1. Ethanol, 1 minute. Hydrogen peroxide, 1 minute. And povidone iodine, 1 minute. There is an International Society for Aerosol in medicine. The society says that the purpose of ISM guidance document is to provide rationale for appropriate use of nebulizers that are equally appropriate in many circumstances. So the ISM says inhalers offer no innate advantage in reducing the production or dispensation of patient-generated bioaerosols. There is no clear evidence that the medical nebulizers are potentially dispersed bioaerosols from the patient to the surrounding area. Medical aerosols becoming contaminated in the lungs before exhalation are not supported by evidence. When a droplet in aerosol initially when the COVID-19 was prevalent in our society, there were a lot of scared among the medical fraternity on using nebulization on patient with COVID-19. But the data says nebulization machines are not that very risky. So there are some recommendations laid down by the ISM on nebulization, which are again the same: hand washing, perform high-risk aerosol generating procedures in negative pressure room with PPE kit, have patients wear masks whenever possible, and give high-flow nasal cannula oxygenation, use mouthpiece instead of mask, and social distancing, that is maintaining at least 6 feet of distance from the patient by the healthcare workers. Use valve chambers in the medical in which medical aerosol is contained. Place the filter and exhalation port of nebulizations, which can filter out the larger particles. Avoid breaking open the ventilator circuit to add medication to the medication or change the nebulization. A surgical mask placed over the oxygen cannulas. Nose and mouth act as a barrier to contain bioaerosols generated and reduce the dispersion distance. Medical nebulizers should be disposed of or rinsed or dried and washed between the use. So these are some do's and don'ts for in hospital that we already discussed. Do's are do hand wash thoroughly as per the guidelines. Alcohol-based and sanitizers to be used frequently. To wear PPE like a mask, hand gloves, face shield, and gown. Perform nebulization in an infection isolation room. Never perform nebulization in a closed room. Maintain social distance. Leave the room vacant for at least 30 minutes after the nebulization is given. Sanitize the room after the nebulization is given. And disinfect and wash the equipment with the hospital grade disinfectants like isopropanol 70%. Now we will discuss few guidelines for home nebulization. Eventually the guidelines are the same. Like advise the patient to ensure that there is sufficient supply of their medication at home, wash hand and clean the equipment, and use mask, mouthpiece, and regularly washing and disinfecting of nebulization machine. Use nebulization in well-ventilated room, especially in the balcony, or if there is no balcony, keep the windows open. Close the patient's room's door when the patient is taking treatment. The area should not be a part of central air conditioning, and nebulization should be always done away from the family member. And limit the number of caregivers. And nebulization should be strictly for single patient use and not to be shared with other family members. So these are the do's and don'ts for home nebulization. Advise the patient to have full supply, not to be performed in a room which has central air circulation. No caretaker or family member to be allowed to enter the room during the treatment. No nebulization treatment treatment only in the well-ventilated room. Not to share the machine with the other family members, and not to leave the room vacant for 30 minutes after the treatment. So that is it. Thank you. Thank you for listening me. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I hope this was.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Hello. Yes, sir. Student wants to ask few questions
Yes,
to you regarding this presentation.
yes, please.
So I'm asking students if they have any queries, you can unmute yourself and ask it to sir itself. Okay. Directly. Is there anyone?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yes. Yes, sir. This COVID-19 so that's
Your voice is not very clear.
there is current.
Your voice is.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Hello.
Yeah, coffee.
Yes,
Your
yes,
voice
please.
is not clear.
Can you hear me?
Your voice is
Hello,
not
can you hear-
clear.
Can
Can you please type your question in chat?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, here in the
Okay.
meeting only.
Can you now?
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, there is a question. What is the main or key difference of safe nebulization during normal days and during COVID-19 or in HIV patient? There is a question asked by Saksham, one
Okay.
student from
Yeah.
third year.
Yes. So basically, the recommendations that we follow during COVID-19 are a little bit more on stricter side because COVID-19 has higher transmission risk compared to other infectious disease. So yes, mask is to be worn all the time whenever the treatment is to be given. Hand gloves are to be used. There has to be different separate nebulization kit for each patient. There has to be a different machine. If we are in a hospital, then we should have multiple machines so that the risk of cross infection is decreased because Generally, in the hospitals, when we give treatment, nebulized treatment, patients is either in acute condition, has come with exacerbation, or some respiratory infections. So yeah, the few protective measures have to be followed always.
Okay. Sir, there is a question asked by Pratima Paudil. She has written here that would you please tell us about what is nebulization and who needs one and why?
So nebulization is a process through by which we deliver the medicine to the lungs via the aerosol. For this purpose, there is a machine called nebulization machine, which does this job of converting the liquid formulation of medicine into the aerosols. And by inhaling, we inhale that medicine, and that medicine is delivered to the lungs. The nebulization treatment is given to patients whose chief complaints are breathlessness, respiratory disorders, asthma, COPD, some patients with interstitial lung disease, bronchiectasis. So these are the patients to whom we give the nebulization treatment. There are different kind of nebulization machines are available as well. The conventional one that we use are the jet nebulizers. Then there are ultrasonic nebulizers available, and now the newer modern handheld nebulization machines are also available, which are called mesh nebulizer machines. The function of all the machines are essentially the same. That is to convert the liquid formulation of medicine into the aerosols to deliver it locally on the airways and the lungs.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Hello. Yeah, my question is: Are there any side effects of nebulization?
Nebulization, like any other topical treatment, is directly delivered through the respiratory systems. There is no or very little systemic absorption of the medicine. So side effects we cannot deny, but very less compared to the other form of medicines, that is oral or injectable forms. The side effects with the nebulization treatment is very low. Yes, copy, please.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Hello.
Yes. Yes, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So there are few questions asked
Yes,
by
please.
Meagle and Coffee in the chat box. So Meagle is asking, what is ISAM?
We just mentioned what is ISM stands for. That is International Society for Aerosol Medicine. They lay down guidelines based on the studies that they conduct that needs to be followed for the any procedure that generates aerosols. We just say what are the procedures. There was a slide where we depicted few procedures where the aerosols are generated. Nebulization is one of them. Other procedures are intubation, extubation, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, coughing, sneezing, etc. So this is the international society which studies the aerosol medicine.
Okay. Okay, sir. There is one more question that asked by Coffee. It's here written in the chat. That COVID-19 is a public issue. So should nebulized therapy be used in hospital or home settings? If yes, there are any educative perspective for the public to how to use the nebulizers at home instead of strict supervision of health professional?
Yes, I think Coffee, therefore we discussed in few slides. There were few do's and don'ts for nebulization machines to be used in the hospital or clinic. And there was another slide where we discussed how what are the things to follow when the nebulization machine is to be used in home. So both have few similarities and few differences. For home, the patient needs to.
Sir, voice is not clear.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Hello, sir. Your voice is not audible properly.
Hello. Am I clear
Yes, sir.
now?
Yes. Right. Now it's clear.
Yes. Yeah. So this entire slide I have forwarded to ma'am, Chintal ma'am.
Yes, sir.
You can have it and study that.
Yeah.
Ma'am, you can because this will again take us to the discussion of all the slides because
Yes.
those things we have already discussed. Yeah.
Yes. Definitely, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely. Sir, the last question I want to ask is how long nebulizer treatment can be taken?
As long as there is medicine in the chamber, the drug chamber, the treatment to be continued in the single dose, and as per the patient's convenience, patient's response, and patient's need, we decide how long the nebulization treatment is to be taken. There are some chronic morbid patients who cannot take the
Fine.
inhaler treatment.
Thank you so
For them,
much, sir.
we do the nebulization treatment for long. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
There is one last question.
Yes, please.
Yes,
No
sir.
problem.
There is one last question which Coffee wanted to ask. Should nebulizer therapy be continued in a patient already using it for chronic respiratory disease management in hospital or home settings?
Yes, patient can use take the long term home nebulization therapy. If yes, inhalers are always preferred. But if patient doesn't have that effort or patient doesn't want to take the inhalers, then nebulization therapy can be given. Yes, Milan, nebulization can be used in all ages. Just the drug dose need to be adjusted as per the age and the condition of the patient.
Okay. So thank you, sir. What a great lecture it was. And we are benefited a lot by attending and listening to this great webinar. So on behalf of Department of Paramedical and Health Sciences, I take this opportunity to propose the vote of thanks. And I would like to extend my thanks to Dr. Hiren Popat sir for providing this valuable time. And we are really enlightened with your knowledge and presence. And my heartfelt thank you to our students and staff for their active participation. So with these warm words, we would move to the end of today's session. Thank you, everyone. And thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for having me here. Thank you, all the students. I hope I was able to share some knowledge and throw some light on nebulization. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Stay safe.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So everyone can leave now. The webinar is over. Thank you.
Okay, madam.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, madam.
Okay, madam.
Thank you, madam.